What's up everybody, Kinetic here and welcome back to Diablo 3 Reaper of Souls. In this video I'm going to be talking a quick overview of one of the biggest additions to Diablo 3 in patch 2.1, the Greater Rifts. There's a lot of really cool stuff in this patch, including seasons also, which are basically like ladders you would kind of think of from Diablo 2, but with their own flavor here in Diablo 3. This video is going to focus just on getting you started in understanding what Greater Rifts are about. If you've been playing Diablo at all lately, then you know that there are rifts where you spend a key, you go into an area, it's all randomized with random monsters and stuff like that, random areas, and you have a chance of getting some really cool loot. Greater Rifts offer something a little bit different. It's a little bit more restricted, a little bit more challenging in its own way. For example, you could go into a normal rift, and while you're fighting monsters, you can switch gear in the middle of combat. You know, if there's frozen pulse, go ahead and swap out that amulet for something that protects against freezing and stuff like that. Well, you can't do that in Greater Rifts. You go in there, you're locked down with whatever you're wearing, and that's it. So that, to me, that in itself is one of the greater challenges, because normally when I'm in rifts, I'm constantly changing amulets, sometimes rings and stuff like that, just to kind of adjust to, you know, how good my party may be, or, you know, what kind of monsters I'm facing, what kinds of powers do they have and stuff like that. You can't do that in Greater Rifts, so it's exciting, I think, in its own way because of that. These are also timed as well. There's a time limit to the Greater Rifts, up to 15 minutes. You have to get in there, fill the bar up by killing monsters and defeat the boss in that amount of time. Otherwise, well, I don't know, because I haven't failed it yet, but I'm assuming that it's not any good. Same thing with dying or whatever. Just don't do it, right? You got 15 minutes. It should be plenty of time. Also, there is no loot to pick up off the ground, because this is essentially a speed run. You're meant to be as efficient as you possibly can. All of the loot is saved to be given to you at the end of the rift. So when you complete the rift after killing the Rift Guardian, then there's sort of a I think it's basically been dubbed like a loot explosion, an explosion of loot. You'll just have like gold and all this stuff popping out of the ground, and you have a chance to get one of the really cool things that have been added to patch 2.1, the legendary gems. These are a new type of gem, obviously, that are in the game, and they can be placed into either an amulet or into your rings. So finally, there's good reason to have a socket now, I think, on your rings or on your amulets. And so far, I've gained about 5 different legendary gems, which is pretty surprising. I wasn't expecting to get them as quickly as I have, but I'm going to show you how all of this stuff works here in this video. To get into a Greater Rift, you're going to need a trial key, which is dropped off of the Rift Guardians from normal rifts. So just get whatever your most powerful character is, your best build, set the difficulty as high as you can. It doesn't have to be too extreme. These keys drop pretty easily from Torment difficulties. Once you get that, then you will bring it back to where you would normally open a rift, and you're going to drop it in there just like you're dropping in any key now to open a rift, and you will enter into a sort of trial arena. And essentially what this is it's kind of like a test. You're going to be sent waves of enemies to see how fast you can kill them before the timer runs out, and the more you kill, the higher the waves get and stuff like that. And the purpose of this is, at the end of the trial, it will give you a keystone with a number on it. And that number is sort of like basically your starting level of difficulty for when you're going to go into a Greater Rift. Now, you don't have to worry about this too much. You don't have to, like, push yourself really hard, I don't think, in order to try and get the highest number keystone you possibly can. If you screw up, it's really no big deal. The reason why it's not such a big deal, your performance in the initial trial, is because when you complete the Greater Rift, that's also kind of a trial test in itself as well. The game will calculate, you know, how fast it took you to finish that Greater Rift and stuff like that, and it will adjust accordingly. It may give you the chance to go up 1 level, or it may give you a chance to go up 3 levels if you did really, really well. So don't stress out too much about that first trial. Just get it done and get yourself into the Greater Rifts. Inside the greater rifts, it's what you would kind of expect from a normal rift, aside from some of the limitations that I mentioned before, and of course the timer, which is kind of a big deal. But there are some interesting little mechanics to this in the way that you will fill up your progress bar. In normal rifts, you would just kill things and it would go up gradually over time. That still works, but now when you kill elite packs, I believe that, I don't think it's 100%, maybe it is, but there's a very good chance that they will drop these new purple orbs that will give you a large amount of progress into your progress bar. So it's a really good idea to find the elites as quickly as possible, but certainly don't skip like any trash behind you, because every little bit helps to progress your bar up. But definitely when you see those elites, you know that you have a really good chance to increase your progress bar by killing those guys. You'll also notice from the progress bar on the bottom there's an hourglass which tells you how much time is left in the greater rift, and at the top it shows you a percentage of what your progress is to fill up that progress bar. And as always with a rift, once that progress bar is full, then you'll get the Rift Guardian. Once you defeat the Rift Guardian, then you'll get the big loot explosion, and you have a very good chance, I think, of getting one of the new legendary gems. I say a good chance because so far I think almost every time I've done a greater rift, I get at least one, sometimes two of these legendary gems, which is really, really sweet. You'll also notice that there's a new NPC that comes in here, and she is very, very interesting. She gives you two options. She can either upgrade the legendary gem if you have one, assuming you do have one. She can give you a chance to upgrade your legendary gem, or she can upgrade your Greater Rift Keystone. Legendary gems have levels to them, and of course the higher the level for the legendary gem, the more powerful that they are. This NPC has the ability to help you level up your legendary gems, and it doesn't matter if it's in your bag or maybe you left it in your stash back in town, or if it's already equipped onto one of your pieces of jewelry, she'll be able to level up that gem for you. That's one option. Or what you can do is you can keep your Greater Rift Keystone, and she will, depending on your performance in that rift, she will give you maybe 1, 2, 3, or I don't know, maybe even more levels to increase your difficulty going into another Greater Rift. I say one or the other because if you do choose to level up your legendary gem, you will not get a Greater Rift Keystone. So to do another Greater Rift, then what you would have to do is go back to normal rifts and start from the beginning, try to get a trial keystone to drop, do the trial, and repeat the same process. So the upside is that you have a chance to upgrade your legendary gems, which is very important, but you do sacrifice your Greater Rift key if you do choose to upgrade your legendary gems. And in order to get another Greater Rift keystone, you would have to repeat the same process from before, going into a normal rift, get the trial key, and then do the whole thing all over again. If you choose to upgrade your Greater Rift keystone, like I said, you keep it, but you don't get any other upgrades for the completion of that rift. What I would recommend to people is that you go ahead and just upgrade your Greater Rift Keystone. You will probably get a legendary gem, and it's very tempting to go ahead and to start upgrading it, stuff like that. But personally, unless you absolutely know for sure that that is definitely a legendary gem that you want to get started on immediately with upgrading, I would just upgrade your Greater Rift Keystone so that way you can jump into another Greater Rift and have a chance to get more of these legendary gems. Again, they're pretty common when you're completing these legendary rifts, so run a few Greater Rifts, try to get like 3, 4, or 5 or whatever legendary gems, and then from there, like, take a look at what you've got and, you know, what would be good for that class and stuff like that, and start picking out the ones that you would definitely want to use and to level up. Then go back to the Greater Rifts, complete it, and use the NPC to start upgrading your legendary gems. Greater Rifts are a lot of fun to do solo, but no doubt in my mind, these are probably a lot more fun and interesting to do in groups. So if you got friends online that are playing Diablo 3 and can do some Greater Rifts with you, try to get them to tag along or join in on somebody else's game. You have more benefits to getting greater rewards, to facing more exciting challenges and things like that. So yeah, party it up. And if you don't have any friends, if you're totally alone in the world of Sanctuary, then look me up. I've got my details in the description below of my battle tag, and you can also, if you like, join my clan, the NephalemBastards. We got a few people, not a large group, but we've got a few people that are on pretty frequently, and then others that kind of come on and off as they please. But it would be great to have more active players. If you're into playing Diablo 3 and you're really interested in doing seasons and stuff like that, we would love to have you. That's all I got for you guys in this video for Diablo 3 and patch 2.1. I want to know what you think down in the comment section below. Click the like button to support Reaper of Souls videos, and I hope to put them out as often as I can. Thanks again for watching. My name is Kinetic. I'll see you next time.